Hey guys, this is going to be a Team of Theory video. I figured since we were 6 episodes into season 4 and there are still 6 episodes left, I would just do a big theory video. The point I want to talk about, and that is the Scott McCall dark arc, which is essentially, it's pretty much what it sounds like, a dark arc. It's when a good character goes dark, and I know a lot of you love Scott. I mean, Scott's cool. He's not my favorite, but a lot of you think he's some little baby unicorn, and he's not. Now, it took me a while to finally see that he was going down a dark path. It was, I think the first time I saw it was last season, when Allison died. And I'd heard murmurs about this dark arc, but, you know, I didn't see it until Allison died, and it wasn't even until like this season that I was really like, okay, I definitely really see what they're talking about, because it's really getting stated in this season. And I'm not trying to hate on Scott, just hear me out. I want to start with Allison. Like I said, that was when I first really saw it going that way. Allison was in Archer, which I'm going to call it a parallel to being a sniper in this, in my personal theory opinion. Where do you put a sniper? Do you put them down on the battlefield, or do you put them up high in a building? You put them up high in a building, usually semi-far away, so they have a good line to shoot from, and no one can see them. Where was Allison? Allison was on the grand floor with everyone. She should not have been there. Where was Chris, like, an episode later when they're fighting the Nogitsune? He was up high, where an Archer should be. She should not have been there, and Scott, as the true alpha and guy in charge, he should have put her somewhere up high. I'm not. Okay, it sounds like I'm blaming Scott for Allison's death. I'm not. Okay, I'm not fully blaming Scott for her death, but he should have seen that she did not belong there. And another thing with Scott that I really saw this week, that's what I'm mostly going to talk about. This week, he took the money from Garrett's locker. First off, he disrupted police evidence. That's not good. 2, he didn't tell Liam. He didn't tell anyone until Styles at the end. 3, he was working with Garrett at a certain point, and he told no one. He could have told Sheriff Stilinski, he could have told Styles, he could have told Agent McCall, he could have told a series of different people, so they could have been more on lookout, but he didn't say anything. And I mean, obviously I'm not going to be blaming that the fact that the Berserkers attacked the van to get Violet, but if he could have warned them, they would have been on higher notice, and they might have had maybe more backup or something to help. And on to like the money part of the thing. Again, with money, obviously the money belongs to the Hales, because essentially if you add up all three Deadpools, the money that is totaled is 117 million. So that money is Hale money. It's essentially blood money, so to speak. And the fact that well, we don't know what he's going to do with the money. You know, we still have 6 episodes left. He could give the money back to Derek. But the fact that he didn't automatically give it back to Derek is kind of saying something, because yeah, we got several scenes where we heard Melissa talking about having no money. Scott could give her the money, which would be wrong. It would not be right. It would not be him helping out his mom. It would be wrong, because that is not his money to give out. And obviously, we'll see if he actually does give the money back to Derek or not. But still, if he does anything besides giving the money to Derek, it's literally just setting the path up for his dark arc. Plus, I didn't even talk about the fact that when he was talking to Deaton, he said that it would be his job to protect everyone and for no one else to die. That's not good in itself. First off, he is now under even more pressure to try to keep everyone alive, and in that pressure, he's going to miss a ton of things, worrying about the fact that no one else dies. He is going to miss something, and someone will die, and that will probably spiral him into his dark arc even more. So, I'm going to talk about what Parrish is. Since we saw, in the mid-season trailer, that he would be covered in soot after, they showed, the sheriff's car in flames, he was covered in soot, which makes kind of the obvious choice for him to be a phoenix, because the phoenix rises out of the ashes, and I feel like this could totally work. But also, the raven is also associated with fire, and it would make sense if they went with raven, since the Nogitsune referenced the fox, the coyote, and the raven. It'd be probably a good choice to go with the raven, but I think the phoenix would add up more. So now onto the big theory that I really wanted to talk about, and that is the Benefactor. Who is the Benefactor? We still don't know yet. We're 6 episodes in, 6 more to go, and I'm assuming we'll probably find out who the Benefactor is this season. I have a couple choices. I want to go there with you guys, and I have 5 choices that I'm going to talk about and tell you which one I think is probably the best to actually be the Benefactor. The first one is Harris. We don't know he's dead. His body was never found. He was working with Kate back in the day. He probably has a vendetta against the supernatural creatures, so why wouldn't it be Harris? That's kind of like low on my totem pole of who I think it is, but honestly, I feel like Harris is going to probably return one day because, again, no body was found, so I definitely expect to see Harris return, and I think it would work if he was the Benefactor. Number 4 is Gerard. Gerard has numerous reasons as to why he wants supernatural creatures gone. He is probably the most suspected creature, or he's the most suspected person to be the Benefactor. He's not my top choice though, but he's the one that a lot of people think is going to be the Benefactor, along with Peter, but honestly I don't have Peter on my list, to be personally honest. Peter's after different things and I don't see him being the Benefactor. Gerard is also low on my list as well because honestly the last time we saw him he was, you know, oozing the black stuff, and it just was not looking good for Gerard. I mean, he could be doing better. I mean, we don't really know where he's been at since 3A. So, I mean, he's had like a season to maybe get better or whatever. But honestly, he's low on my totem pole. My third choice is Danny. Since we know that he knows about the supernatural creatures, I think he could be on the list as possibly being the Benefactor, or at least being the tech guy behind the Benefactor, because we do know that Danny he's really smart with computers, so he could be the one who actually set up the Deadpool and is on the end with knowing all about everything because he goes to school with them. My second choice is Victoria Argent, because if Kate can survive, Victoria sure as hell should have survived, because she was already a wolf by the time that she killed herself, so she could have easily just have re-healed herself and she could just still be out there. Even if she's not the Benefactor, I'm pretty damn convinced that Victoria Argent is actually still out there and is still alive. It doesn't even matter if she's the Benefactor or not, but I know she has to still be alive somewhere, and I honestly expect to see her return somewhere down the line in this show. And my number 1 guess is Deaton. Deaton is shady. I mention this almost every week. Deaton's shady. He is one of the shadiest characters on this show. I feel like he's even more shadier than Peter. So Deaton is my number 1 choice. Plus this past week, it was a very strange moment, which could be foreshadowing that Deaton is the Benefactor, or is still up to no good. like I've said, but when Scott got knocked out and came to, I think the scene before was Meredith saying the benefactor, and then Scott woke up and Deaton's face was the first thing we saw, or Scott saw, and I thought that was very, very strange, because that is, I feel like that was huge, huge foreshadowing that Deaton will be something. I'm thinking the benefactor, but I definitely saw that as a huge sign that Deaton is up to no good, as I've already said, probably countless times just in the last 2 minutes. But I don't trust him. I don't trust Morel. I barely trust Brayden, who I think is also up to no good, because she can easily be persuaded with money and could be working with the benefactor in general, especially if it was her cousin Deaton, because Brayden is Deaton and Morel's cousin. Shady ass family. So Deaton is the obvious choice for me personally, but I also think any of the others that I mentioned could also possibly be the benefactor. But those are all the theories that I really want to talk about this far into the season. There might be another one at the end of the season or before 5A starts. So tell me what you guys think, and thanks for watching.